Hey guys, it's Al from Altruistic Channel, and I have amazingly good news. The test is over. What? What? Dun, 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 dun. I released in New Orleans. So I was in the middle of doing actually, I had just finished doing the same-sex tarot, trying to be uplifting and all that stuff. And I'd say it was around 5:30 in the morning, I suddenly got a huge something was in the air and I could feel it. And I had gone outside to smoke a cigarette. And the next thing I know, I was like, my breathing was very, very heavy. And I felt like something was in my lungs. And it was like very reminiscent of when I was asthmatic as a kid. And so I was like, oh crap, here we go. And then I came down, I went back upstairs, I laid down, and then I started to get it out. And then in the process, what the download I got during the moment was you are getting rid of any leftover toxins, physically cleansing yourself of anything toxic from the old cycle of what was. And so I went, oh, and then suddenly I got the hot flash, and it was like super like uncomfortable for a minute, and I just kept saying, "Love is light, erase death from my sight. Love is light, a new life begins tonight." And I just kept saying that affirmation over and over again. And before I knew it, I kind of was like dozing off, and then all of a sudden I got this huge surge of energy, and my stomach went, "Oh no!" And so then I was like, "Oh, I guess I got to get rid of some shit." And then I went, "Oh, literally!" And then I got up, went to the bathroom one time. That was it. That was the entire experience I had for it, because that is what right alignment is, and that's what they want me to tell you. So here's the thing. I'm never going to make light of those that we lost in this particular virus, because that is not something it's not something you can explain to someone in the middle of it. You can't say to someone that this is going someplace and that there's a reason that this happened. You can't say that, because that devalues the life that has left. So instead, what I'm going to say is that the lives that left are those of exhausted people like us, who just were exhausted and they could not physically handle it, because they couldn't. Like, some of us have been through so much in life that it was almost like a poetic exit. I say, take this in an affirmation in a good way. Your family is now at peace, and so they might have been going through it and just hanging on for love and all that stuff, but at some point they were exhausted. And so we speak their name into the atmosphere to remember them as strong beings that made it as far as they could, and took a rest. They are resting. That's it. They're there. It's a conscious state. They will come back in their own way and do what they need to do in life. But don't mourn them. Rejoice them. It is a beautiful moment. They are at peace. They are a continuation of those that we've been losing since January. There's been a huge uprise in mortality, because people are being given gracious in the state of grace. They're being given exits that exit them in a way that's not violent, and it's very peaceful for me. With a fever, you're not conscious at some point, and then you're exiting in a state of dream, if you will. And so I look at it in that way. So please don't ever think that I am making light of anybody who's left, because I honor every life that was here. But we are continuing the purging of anything that is old world. And in doing that, some people who are very sanctified, people that were beautiful beings, are not coming back. And they were giving that. They're going to heaven if you believe in heaven, or they're going back to the superconscious if you believe in that. If you're scientific, then I hope you get on your knees and you figure this out, because the next 10 years is not going to be easy for you. So the way that it was explained to me is Los Angeles is the last of the major areas that are going to be affected by this. And I'm supposed to say this, which is very interesting. Please welcome the new emerging sanctified cities. These are cities that have become sacred cities. They're new. And so the sacred old cities are falling. And I'm not going to get into that whole political thing, because that's not Al would say that. That's something that they want me to say channeling. And it's specific to, there are new sacred cities that have emerged. And the way that you know if you're part of one is that when it sweeps through in your city, like this morning, like New Orleans, everybody's back out. And here's the interesting part. You know it's over. If you're looking at this, you already know it's over. You feel it in your gut. You know it's done. And the reason is because now suddenly you can't handle it. You need to go outside. And you're going to be walking. And here's what I'm supposed to tell you. Do not stay inside. You can go through the motions and go through oh, woe is me, it's not over. We still get 2 weeks, blah, blah, blah. It's not. Any government official or any idiot person, sorry, that's Al, any person that is still afraid of this, if you want to be reelected, I suggest you get these people back to work, because it's done. It's over. And so the longer you keep people in this state, the bigger the backlash will be and the faster your removal will be. And in your place will emerge a new type of political leader. People who are more spiritual and more centered in the reality of what is the new world, the new way of thinking. God redid this. It's the only power, whether you believe in the superconsciousness, in a computer, or in the deity of the God's office. All three has stopped the world in order to get your attention. Now, what you do with it is up to you. But if you're a political leader, find your spirituality and right align yourself with the bullshit. We're not putting up with it. So the faster you get us back to work and the faster you pay us back for this ridiculous thing that you did, where you overreacted in order to stay in office instead of overreacting and to keep us safe. You waited till the last minute to get the homeless off the street. You didn't protect the prisoners. You didn't do anything that you said you were going to do, so you're going to be removed. So if I was you, I would just do us all a favor on your way out. Please put everybody back to work, especially in New Orleans, which it's not going to be as big of a deal as it was. And the reason is because it is a sacred city now. And so as this emerges, you will see these sacred places. They will not be affected as much as the others. And it's not that anybody's better, or it's just that this was all about seeing who you were. This was the divine's way of pointing out to you where you are and how much you need to grow. And so if you locked yourself and were fear-mongered and were sticking to the TV, then you had a harder time getting out of this. And you will probably be in this space for a little bit longer than the rest of us who are just going to go outside today and we're going to go and just have a blast. I mean, I saw people jogging and walking. I'm telling you, you know it's done. It's over. So go outside and exercise because you need to clear your lungs of the toxic air of the old way. So purge yourself, go out. It's going to be a little bit of a heavy breathing at first because you're getting rid of that air. Like even as I say that, I'm triggering like my air to clear out. And so that's why you're supposed to open your window 2 hours a day. But see, here's the thing: when you fear monger and you try to control the population, then you keep them in a place where they never catch on to what you've done. And that's not going to work this time. We know what you did, and we know that you need to be removed. And so just do us all a favor. As you're leaving, especially New Orleans, Mayor, just step down. Just walk away, sweetheart, because we're coming. You're going to go to jail for the actual things that you've done. But that's my personal opinion. That's not the divine saying that. Although I work in the office. I'm just saying, you know, you didn't do it for the right motivations, and that's going to come out. And so all of the hypocrisy that you represent is going to be exiting. So do us all a favor and get all these mothers and all these servers that don't make more than $2.35 an hour back to work. You've shut us down for what, 2-3 weeks now? Almost 3 weeks? And none of them have gotten paid. The money hasn't rolled in yet. Where is it? And so you're putting babies in jeopardy all over a bunch of bullshit that is over. So get it together or get the fuck out the way because this is not going to work for the new way. And so for those of you in Los Angeles, look, either this is going to be a thing for you or it's not. Ultimately, you do have a choice. You were the last market to go down and then rise back up. And you can do it as quickly as the New Orleans area did. Now, I'm not saying that we didn't lose people because we did lose people in Louisiana. And there are people that are still going to exit through this process. But for the majority of people, it's time for you to realize why this test happened. How did you do? Did you show your colors? Did you show that you were strong, independent, and did you walk into your purpose? Or did you tower and hoard and protect just you and your family and then watch as people around you just realize who you are? And so now you're going to have to deal with the backlash of what you've presented to the world. And that's not my karma. That's your relationship now with the divine. You have to forge this dynamic with the divine and get yourself in right alignment. That's what I'm supposed to say. It is not my doing. Although I'm supposed to report it like this, Hierophant reporting. I know that there's a Madam President, and now there's the Office of the Hierophant is how I'm going to be going with anything official from the 5D. I go with the flow. At this point, nothing surprises me. And that's the thing that you got to remember, y'all. This is a brand new way of looking at life. And so you have to center your energies with whatever you believe the divine to be. Here's my idea, and this is just Al speaking here, not the Hierophant office, but Al. When it comes to all the churches that are going to be vacant and all of that stuff, once we clean it and all that stuff, why don't we use it for schools or orphanages or things that help the homeless? Why don't we do things that do not break down the building but preserve it in the history, learn from it, and then you reutilize it in a recycled way, in a new way of looking at the world? Why don't we do that? Because they're out. You cannot come back from that level of hypocrisy. And so we'll get into the whole dynamics there between the divine and why that needed to be right aligned, because we can go for hours back and forth on this, and I don't have time for that low frequency shit. So here's the other part. those of you who are now in a position of power, presidents of their own empires, Hierophant, the office of whatever it is that you were downloaded, that you had right aligned yourself into, just understand that there is at least one other person, especially if you're an elder, that is in your area, that you and their energy is what created the lift to keep this just a test instead of pandemic. You see what I'm saying? So understand that you already know who this person is. You already connected to it. I didn't meet him till tonight, actually, this morning. And we were outside smoking, and that's when I met him. Of course, a straight dude, because that's the legacy of my life. If I ever fucking meet a gay dude, I'm gonna be like a fucking. Um, but the test is done. How did you do? If your zone is still not affected by this, and if you feel, you're gonna feel it. Anybody who's spiritual is going to feel the sensation of the trigger, the switch, and it's up to you to not be afraid, because then it attaches itself to you. I literally went for an hour and a half long walk, power walking, got the shit out. The worst that it's been. There's no phlegm anymore. There's no toxins anymore. And like after I went to the bathroom once to potty, no more ascension symptoms on that. It's done. And you have to believe it's done in order to just process it and go forward. Guys, if you are a single mother or a mother and you have kids and you protected the family without hoarding, and don't you're not supposed to judge yourself because of the fact truth, sorry. My guides always make me cough when I say something really potent. Um, it's a way for me to know that to speak clearly. Understand that you did what was right for your family. And so this is not a place for us to judge each other. That's not what this is about. This is an eternal monologue that needs to happen with you and the divine, and don't let anybody tell you otherwise, okay? But you will see the colors, and everybody else saw it. So if I was you, I would just acknowledge it to others and kind of do like a peace train and kind of those that you were fear mongering and all that stuff, you're gonna have to make amends in some way, shape, or form. But that's between you and them. Or you can just ignore it altogether and then go down that road, and that is a very different road. There's two roads in front of you. You can go back to the way that was and fail miserably, and in 10 years you're going to have to do this again. And when this next one comes, you're not going to make it. That is straight up. Or you can get with the program, get your spiritual center, and start working on new ways of working in the world. Those are the only two avenues you have, and you already know which one you're on. So if you are reacting negatively to me, that's not my problem. You're not part of the show that I'm part of. Okay? Haters, hate, 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 hate. All you want. I passed my test. If you're hating on me, you didn't pass your test. That is an integrity issue with you, not my problem. And so understand that as much fun as I am and as much love as I give the world, I'm the wrong one. I'm just going to look at you and be like, why are you talking to me? Why are you talking to me? And you're going to feel what that feels like, because that will be judgment. That will be me judging you and saying, you're now bringing this into an uncomfortable situation where I'm going to look down on you because you're showing your ass again. And I'm just going to look at you and be like, you're not in my frequency. Why are you referring to me? Straight up. Like, why are you talking to us? I don't have any control over what happened between you and the divine. That is your doing. Only your doing. It's your accountability. Don't come to me with that punk ass bullshit without me looking at you and going, that's kind of sad. No matter how you approach it, no matter what you say, don't get violent because I'll break your face. But the point is that, like, this is not a place for that lower frequency. And understand, guys, there's a big divide happening within the spiritual community about the lower frequencies attacking you. Here's the thing. The lower frequencies will be those are humans. That's not negative energy. That's not like because here's the thing, they need you to survive. They need you to make this transition. They can't exist. You can't have that dark element without the light. So both of them are now working together, and you need to wrap your head into that space because now they are trying to create something with creators that the divine has tapped that did the work, that went up the mountain instead of just doing the mountain by themselves and being enlightened and just being like, well, fuck you to everybody. These people went back down the mountain and started bringing people up the mountain. And these are the people who then took it seriously and went down a path that was led to them where they were getting downloads, and then it grew, and then tarot and enlightenment, and they did the work. And so don't hate on people who did what you can't do. That is your inability to be right in alignment with God. That is not my business, and so I'm not the one. I'm not the one for you to do that to. But having said that, there are going to be haters that are going to despise us. Let them. It's their further path off that has nothing to do with you. The divine has specifically told you, especially the elders, you are protected. Protected from government bureaucracy bullshit, government, like all these people who are going to get threatened, but it's not your problem. You work for the office of God. You do not work for the office of the president of whatever. By the way, we're going to get a new president. Just putting it out there. You can't fear monger an entire world into submission, even though at the end of the day only God can do that. But it can stop the world. But it did it in a way by playing on the insecurities of the people who are the perpetrators of it. And so understand that now they're going to freak the fuck out. And now that they know that we're looking at them and we see them for what they are, they're going to try to bite back. But here's the thing: if you are divinely guided, they will not be able to touch you, because God will just be like, oh really? Let's dig this up in your life. Let's make sure that you go to jail for this, because you're not doing what you need to do, which is just admit that you were wrong and that you did it for the right reasons, but you did it out of fear, and you did it because you didn't know how to react to it. Don't do it in a way that's barbaric and that comes at us like a patriarch telling us that we have to submit. You're going to get eaten alive, and it's going to happen really fast, super fast, because the divine is endorsing reaction in a positive way. So lose the limits, get with the program, get on board. If the test is over, how did you do? If you didn't do well, then that is your responsibility to walk down this path. There is plenty of videos that I posted over the past 3 years on YouTube that you can follow the breadcrumbs, that I go very into specifics. There are other leaders out there. The Leo King is amazing with astrology and tarot. I would recommend watching and learning from him. If you need to learn about psychism, and you can go to Man and President over at the Artegan. Watch Natalie in the morning, which they just should change the name. I'm sorry, Man and President. I can't remember. You can look at Santero, who's super connected to the spirit, and then of course Jamila over at A Minute with Jamila, who is, I think, I don't know. There's a change there, but that's up to I can't speak to what's going on in that empire, but that's an empire. And then there's another empire that is just, I can't get enough of this empire. It's a unique empire from the energy that I'm getting, and she hasn't revealed it yet, but she's gonna send it on a little mind trip. It's good. It's good. It's good. I don't know the specifics, but it's an energy. It's like there's a frivolity in the space that I'm in with these beings that we have not met. Like, we're going to meet now. Now that we can move throughout the country, honey, stop dragging your feet. We can travel now. What you want to do? What you want to do? 515-4412. That's the last time I'm putting my number out there for you. 504-515-4412. Okay. And last but not least, enjoy your family. Today, go outside. You will have the energy, and internally you will know it's over. Once you know that, unless you are fully denying everything spiritual and just completely disconnected from the world, then I can imagine that you will fight it, and you will have to go through it. And for the next week, oh, and meanwhile, everybody else is looking at you like you're a freaking moron, and you're going to be like, well, I don't understand. Why is everybody acting? Because you're victimized. You're not in the right headspace, and this is not the world for you. That's gone. It has been wiped. And so the new world is accountability, responsibility, apologizing to those you did wrong, and then literally, because you can't ever make somebody feel a certain way. That's their responsibility. But if you did something to fearmonger or to suppress, or you kick somebody out because they weren't taking it seriously, but like, those are things that you're going to have to right align. So that's all I wanted to say. But the test is over for those markets. LA, the one thing that was interesting is there was an anger level that came first. It was the first wave of this. As it hit the community, I remember it was the day that I got emotional. I was talking to the divine, and the divine didn't say anything. Remember that day that I posted about? That is the leading edge of this. That's when the virus hits your community for the spiritual person. And so that's when you're going to understand where you are as far as the dynamic between you and the divine. Because if the divine spends the time with you during that crucial moment, then you know you're in right alignment, because you're a soldier, or you're a warrior, or you're a king or a queen or an emperor or an empress. It's a whole new dynamic. And so creators, when I say put your hands out, you better have a Mardi Gras bag ready. Because when I say immediate abundance, it's already there. I'm being pulled to LA, and so I'm going to be leaving towards LA as soon as this person stops dragging their feet. It's done, and it's like permanent. It's like an empire that blooms, an altruistic channel, and then this other party. And so it's a merger, if you will, of two parties that are individuals and that, separate entities, but still empires. So these are brethren empires, just like there'll be brother sister. You see what I'm saying? So this is a network that is growing within the divine organization of God's office, and as the hierophant of this scenario. It's just between political world and the spiritual side of it. And so the balance is, I don't care what the dynamics are. It just needs to balance in the end and be what the divine channels. You know what I mean? Like, it needs to be something that helps humanity at the same time as making humanity prosper. And so if it offsets, then my office will be all in your ass and be like, what the fuck are you doing? And that's just the way that's going to be, from what I understand. My personality is used to not be that way, but now I have no problem. You know what I mean? Like, the fear is gone. There's nothing in me that's going to stop me from doing what's right by humanity. So that's part of the office of God. And so different leaders are going to be emerging that are part of this office that don't work for any one person other than the divine and the universe as a general thing. They work for Source. They work for Source's office for some. Some work in God's office, which is another energy that we've created. And so that's God, Allah, anybody that you pray to, that is God's office. And then below that is Christ's office, which is, it's like an org board. And all of them belong within the same entity because all of it's source, right? All of it's the master creator, the super consciousness, all of that. But within that are smaller divisions, right? And so you work for different factions of different parts of the brain, if you will. And so each of you are now tasked to do your responsibilities, and you are being reassigned missions. And so I'm not going to get into that because that is between you and the divine. And I don't need to tell you, you're all, but bear in mind that if you already met if you're an elder, you met a chosen one. So either you were elder, chosen, what I call elders, or you were chosen to be in a specific point, and the moment that you met, you triggered what happened, right? And so you lifted the vibration. If you did it well, then your city could, like, it was like nothing for us here. But it's not just two. There's more than two. I've met the other parties, but you see what I'm saying? So it's like a grid. It's like what Jamila was channeling. It is a grid of beings that had to be in specific places. And so when I was about to leave to go follow my path to LA, prematurely I would have missed this person that I had to connect with. And so I would have suffered. I thought it was because I was leaving the person that I was, considering to that I thought would be a possible life partner out of two, that there's, and so I was like, oh, well, I know that one of them is a soulmate, so I have to finish that. I didn't realize that that was already done. And so what was happening is that I was just not to leave until it was time, and to follow my instinct. And so since the map was, the map is as good as you're connected, it's still going to miss pieces, and you just have to trust your intuition. And so my intuition said stay, and because I stayed, I didn't have to suffer, or there's no backlash. It's immediate abundance. And so opportunities are going to arise. I don't know how I'm going to pay for this room tomorrow. I don't know how I'm going to eat tomorrow because I'm out of money. It's all immediate workout. It's going to work out. I don't know how. The divine just says, dude, this is covered. You successfully did your mission. Now we're giving you another mission. So I'm waiting for that download. But I know I'm going to be heading. I think the opportunity is taking me to LA because there's a person that I'm being drawn to in LA. And somehow, since I can't afford it, I'm assuming that an opportunity will present itself, and because the divine's plan is in effect. And so just trust the divine, trust and have faith, and just be you. Here's the interesting part about Sacred City. New Orleans is a sacred place because it was chosen because of its unique quality. In 300 years, it has not changed, which is why Cantrell is on her way out. She tried to suppress the energy by making it an AI city. And instead of balancing the two energies, it was all been about suppressing the quality of human, the quality of our essence, and the uniqueness of our city. And so that's why it's going to backbite her right now, and the governor as well. Because I think less for the governor, because the governor did what was best for society, but the other one did it to get popular and in manipulation, and that's not going to work in this world. So, and that's not a personal attack. Like, this is straight up what I was channeling. Like, that's not going to work here, because the reason we became a sacred city is because we collectively have kept and preserved our unique quality and stood the test of time and gone through turmoil and Katrina and all this other stuff. And we still have a flood to come. And so understand that we now need people in office that know what to focus on instead of focusing on your big bag of bullshit, girl. Like, we're going to be focusing on our pumps and making sure that our levees don't break and making sure that we do something for the fact that now we put a super freeway to the New Orleans area by removing all the marshes. Like, we got real things to do, so we're not worried about AI. AI will come when we fix the city and we structure it so that it can handle, and the foundation is there. Then they will come and they will sit and they will balance out the energies, because it's another form of Aquarian energy. This city is moving in that direction, but you did it the wrong way, and so now you pay the price. That's all I'm saying. And then that's not a judgment, although I'm supposed to be more judge-y, I guess, in the way that I say things, but it's going to come out. The Hierophant is 100% going to be me balancing the energies between what's right and what's balanced. Because just because I don't agree with something doesn't mean that it isn't right in a situation. But that's where the divine channels energy. That's what you're being tasked with, elders. That's where you're at. And coming in a few years, you will see the emergence of the masters who have returned. And so pay attention. Pay attention to what happens in the next 5 years. Because in 10 years' time, there will be another plague that comes through. And those of you who do not do whatever it is that you said when you have your one-on-one spiritual moment with the divine, and if you continually fuck off or you continually don't do what you're going to do, there is another wave of this to come in 10 years. And so it is up to you to make this world a happy world, a high vibration world, a high vibe society. If you cannot do that, then that's on you. Plain and simple, that's how they want me to phrase it. This is now on you. Accountability is all yours. If you're related to one of the elders, guess what? You still have to go through the process. I thought that because people were related, nope. Because some of them in turn did not support. You know what I mean? Like, so they violated their own contract. And so in that way, I have no control. They don't have any control anymore. It's now a one-on-one dynamic. And so understand that if you're a political party and you are vying to get back in office and you were part of this pandemic scare that it was false, then you're going to have to try double hard and you're going to have to come clean with what you thought was happening and be very, very clear. Because the rest of us can read your mind and now we're not playing. Like, now we can discern and we'll call your bullshit. So just come to the table honest and you come back and you do the right thing. You see what I'm saying? But if you come at it with bullshit and you keep trying to do it the old way, you will get eaten alive by the larger, the change of power. Okay? And this is not going to destroy America. This is not going to be like a free-for-all. It's structured by the divine. So this is like literally layered. And this is a plan. And if you're not in the plan, then I suggest you right align yourself and get with the plan because you're going to be left out and you're going to only have yourself to blame. That's it though, guys. The test is over, and now let's take a moment. We reflect on what was. Did we show up for our purpose? Did we do what we need to do? Don't blame anybody else. Don't blame yourself. Be easy on yourself, but learn from the mistakes and where you got stuck in a fear mindset. Lose the victimization. Stand in your power, and let's go forward. And that's it for me on Alan Altruistic Channels. I'm gonna rest for a minute. I'm gonna go check on the guy that I met, who's really cool, straight, so nothing weird. Honey, whenever you decide here. Um, I'm still waiting for you. But that's the other thing. So now that the pandemic is over, a lot of you that were supposed to be coming into union together with the divine twin flame and stuff, you haven't. You can travel now. Enjoy the honeymoon. I'm supposed to say it just like that. Enjoy your honeymoon. You don't have to tell anybody. Yeah. Bang, bang. Just like, go for it. Make those babies if you can. If you're two dudes, man, you're gonna be a happy man. It's green light, go! I'm feeling it. Come on, motherfucker, just make the decision. Because here's the thing. I have this thing where I have a very big heart. I'm just gonna share this with you because I think it's funny as shit. So I have no problem going up to somebody and be like, "Hey, I'm gonna fuck." I mean, I would never do that. I kind of went back in the day. I would never say that now. But instead, I'm supposed to sit here and be like demure and be like, I'm fertile. I'm not going to do that. That's not going to happen. That's not that one thing. The divine's cracking up. Oh, and if you're a high vibe person, you are going to feel the lift from your world. And you will know exactly who you're supposed to contact and what network you're part of. And you will move. You're going to be moving, acting in ways that you know. But the great thing is you're also tapped into the high vibrancy of above, right? And so above and now so below. So you're caught in that middle. You're in the fourth dimension right now, if you're an elder. And you're feeling that vibe. You're going to have tightness of chest. I'm supposed to say that again. You're going to have tightness of chest until you continually work out and get rid of the toxic energy, the fear, all of the negativity needs to be purged. And so you're going to have maybe rashes and stuff like that because it's a form of your body detoxing. If you're a drug addict, this is the worst time right now because your lungs are already. If you're asthmatic, this is not the time to do. You know what I mean? If you're exposed and immune. If you have an immune deficiency, then understand that this may not be the time to do that. You're not in danger anymore. The test is over. But you don't want to, you still have Everybody still in the world still has this in their system. And so until they finish working out and getting out of the fear mindset, you're going to have a feeling of it. But it's also called spring. These little white balls are called pollen, and they travel throughout air. God isn't, it's just Gaia. Gaia's, she's going sacred. So it gets in your nose, and for anybody with respiratory problems, immune deficiencies, anything like that, you're going to have a reaction called sinus infections or reactions, bronchitis, asthma. You're going to have reactions to spring. It's the dawning of a new age, fine, but the test is over. So don't let the psychosomatic effects of spring, normal things that you normally would encounter as allergies, trigger you into thinking that you have something that's now on its way out. That's it for me on Altruistic Channel. Later. Oh, party, 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 and honeymoon.